Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. The weather here is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you are watching the video from. Yesterday marked the official end of the campaign period in this country.
It's the last day of rallies for Kenya's presidential candidates. And the campaigns are in full force. Deputy President William Ruto may be behind in the polls, but his hustler platform has young people singing his praises. Like these guys here, dancing like die-hard supporters. But are they?
What do you guys do, especially?
We're hustlers. Hustlers.
Hustlers. Okay.
Yeah, we all hustlers, yeah.
Yeah. So are you being paid to attend this rally?
Yeah, we get paid.
How much?
Range from 500 shillings, that's around $5 to $10.
High unemployment and living costs has many Kenyans finding creative ways to make ends meet.
I mean, we were just with these guys at the Ruto rally where they were singing and dancing. It was very believable. And now you've put on blue, white, red Odinga rally colors and you're going over to his side to campaign for him. I mean, this is why it's so difficult to know who's going.
Which means from yesterday 6 p.m., there is no campaign in this country. And the two main political players in this country, Raila Odinga and William Ruto, made their submissions to Kenyans. William Ruto made his final submission to Kenyans from Nyayo National Stadium. Raila Odinga was at Kasarani International Stadium. I want us to do a critical analysis of the two political rallies. But before we go into all those details, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. So please feel welcome. Let us get back to the main issue. And I want to begin this video by making an appeal. In case you're watching this channel or this video, please ensure that tomorrow, on Tuesday, as you go to vote, ensure you vote without any fear or favor. Vote for your candidate. After voting for your candidate, please go home, and if your candidate will win, celebrate. If your candidate will not win, try any other day. And let me know, for example, where you are going to vote from, the polling station and the candidate. If it's Raila, name Raila and the polling station. If it's Ruto, Ruto and the polling station. Now let us now focus on the main subject of this video. Yesterday's rally was significant because that rally was marking the end of the official campaign period. If there's any other thing which any candidate had not done, that was the opportunity for them to do it. So there was choices of the venues. Ruto was at Nyayo, Raila was at Kasarani. You remember both Ruto and Raila were actually fighting over Nyayo National Stadium. Why? Because Nyayo Stadium is right at the center of the town. It's easily accessible, and lastly, it's not that big. So the first thing I noted in these rallies was the stadium capacity. Nyayo Stadium has a capacity of 45,000 people. Kasarani has a capacity of 60,000 people. Those ones seats. But because Kasarani is big and because Nyayo is also a stadium there, it means when you talk of sitting and standing, Kasarani is almost twice the size of Nyayo Stadium. Maybe that's why these two people were competing for the two stadiums. If you compare William Ruto's rally at Nyayo National Stadium and Raila Odinga's rally at Kasarani, which one had bigger crowd? Of course, the stadium which had bigger crowd was Kasarani. And that is one thing which shocked William Ruto and his brigades. Because William Ruto had planned to paint Nairobi yellow. They had planned to fill Nyayo National Stadium to capacity. But from the videos which are emerging, it is clear that the Nyayo National Stadium was almost half empty. The crowd was not the usual crowd. Why do you think most people did not attend William Ruto's rally at Kasarani? That's a question which Kenyans will have to deal with. In Kasarani, the crowd was okay. The mood was also okay. And I think Raila Odinga scored in terms of the capacity there. Number two is the speeches. How were the speeches? If you compared Raila Odinga's speeches from Kasarani and those from Nyayo, there was a clear distinction. The tone, the mood was totally different. William Ruto and his brigades were coming out as opposition leaders. People were ready to take over from the current opposition leadership. Raila Odinga was presidential. He was coming out as someone who is ready to lead the country. I don't know whether that was able to persuade one or two people, but I tend to think that even the mood of William Ruto and his brigades, they came out as more angrier than Raila Odinga's crowd. Raila Odinga's crowd, they were cheerful, they were dancing. Raila Odinga could not even speak at some times because he was being disrupted by cheerful supporters. On the other side, it was a bit gloomy. People were like, okay, Uhuru is planning to rig. We are not going to allow, Raila Odinga was explaining to Kenyans what he's going to do in case he takes the leadership. So the speeches was also very clear. Number three was the mood of the crowd. If you compared the mood at Nyayo National Stadium and those from Kasarani, clearly the mood in Kasarani was more cheerful. And of course, that's typical of Raila Odinga's rallies. I don't want to use that to measure anything, but I want to leave it to you guys. And lastly was the expectation. Majority of Kenyans expected William Ruto to deliver in terms of crowd, especially the fact that he had won the war over Nyayo. The expectation was that the ground was going to be full. Raila Odinga and his brigades, as usual, there was no much expectation because Raila Odinga is known to attract a huge crowd. Remember, William Ruto has never held a serious political rally either in Nyayo or Kasarani. So that was going to be like almost the first major political rally at that ground. So it was expected that it was going to flow. In fact, during the day, for those who are in Nairobi, they tell me that they observed certain things, that whenever they were walking in Nairobi, you would easily spot Azimio supporters walking and dancing to the stadium. William Ruto supporters were just going there, some gloomy. So the expectations were so high on Ruto, but in real sense, they never delivered. But was those rallies significant? Were they intended to achieve certain objectives? The truth of the matter is that the rallies yesterday were intended to achieve objectives. Whether they achieved those objectives is something which I can't tell. The first objective was to persuade the undecided. Remember, there are people who are still undecided up to this stage. I know, like I was talking to a friend of mine here in the village, and he was telling me that for me, I know I'm going to vote for the governor, I'm going to vote for the president, I'm not sure about the MP, I'm not sure of the women rep. So there are people who are still undecided. The last rally was meant for them. The last rally was meant to persuade the undecided to either join Kenya Kwanza or Azimio. The truth of the matter is that the Nyayo National Stadium rally did not live to the expectation. That is something which Kenyans are agreeing on, especially those on William Ruto's side, that their Kasarani rally was not what they expected. The speeches, just like I explained, appeared angry. So I still can't judge whether that strategy worked for them. But for me, one of the objectives which this rally was supposed to achieve was to persuade the undecided to decide and support either Ruto or Raila Odinga. Number two was the battle of the crowd. From the onset, it was clear that Raila Odinga and Ruto were going to compete for the crowd, basically for the people. That's why initially both of them wanted Nyayo National Stadium. Raila wanted Nyayo National Stadium because Nyayo National Stadium is centrally placed. It's easy for people from Kibera to just cross to Nyayo, which makes it very difficult for them to go to Kasarani. They also wanted Nyayo, because if you are traveling from up country, then you land in the CBD, then you can easily cross to Nyayo as compared to Kasarani. William Ruto also wanted Kasarani just because of those same reasons. If you have a rally in Kasarani, then it means it's easier for people from Kibera to arrive. That's something which William Ruto would not have wanted. Number two, anybody coming from outside Nairobi can easily find their way to Nyayo. William Ruto had expected that majority of his supporters, especially from the Rift Valley, were going to lend their support by attending the rally. So making it at Nyayo was going to be good for him. So he managed to do that. But finally, the main aim was for crowd battle, which, if you compare these two rallies, which one had the bigger crowd? Lastly is perception. Politics is a game of perception. There is always the belief that William Ruto does not really have die-hard supporters, people who believe in him, followers, that he has people who are just rented. Raila Odinga is always perceived to be someone who has and enjoys the support of the people. So by William Ruto organizing this event, and the crowd was just that. In fact, I think majority on Twitter, the Kenya Kwanza rally at Nyayo Stadium was being referred to as Kenya Kwisha. So it's going to create a perception that William Ruto's support is just in the mind. That if he's given an opportunity now to gather people, he can't compared to Raila Odinga. So in fact, some people were saying that finally the hotel closed, and therefore those who are attending William Ruto's money so that they could be given one or two now decided to join Raila Odinga because that's where their heart belonged to. So it's about perception. So which of these two rallies actually achieved that perceptual value? In my view, I think again Raila Odinga won on that particular front. I don't know what you think, but for me, I think the two rallies, one at Nyayo and one at Kasarani, were significant politically speaking. And as a Kenyan, maybe they persuaded you to vote for Ruto or to vote for Raila, or not to vote for Ruto, and not to vote for Raila Odinga. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.